Welcome to Blood, Guts, and Booze.
I'm Olivia.
And I'm Kendrah, and this is a comedy podcast here to frighten you and make you question the world that we live in. So sit back with your favorite snacks and let's dive into this. Listener discretion is advised, as these podcasts are not for the faint of heart, nor are they PG.
Hey guys, welcome back. What up? All right.
Hi.
So, we got some fun little cases for you this week. I picked another non-North American case.
Yep, me too.
So, actually, I think ours is from the same island, but not the same part of the island.
Oh?
If yours is in the UK.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So mine's quite north. So, and my case today is on the Loch Ness Monstaaa.
Oh, Lord.
So,
I realized earlier that I actually didn't know what this case was, and I was like, oh, what is she doing?
well,
So isn't it kind of funny?
I was going to do something else, but I'm not going to lie. I've been really slacking on my cases. So last night, half dead because I had to get up at 5 a.m. for work. I attempted to do as much as I could for my other case, but I was so tired, my eyes were going and I already had this case typed up, so
That's fair.
I went with it. I figured I would do the other one probably next week or the week after.
Okay.
So, Loch Ness is in Scotland. This lake is about 755 feet or 230 meters at its deepest point.
Yeah.
And it is 36 kilometers or 23 miles in length.
Mm-hmm.
And it covers more than 18,000 square kilometers or 700 square miles. With multiple rivers attaching to the lake, it is one of the largest freshwater lakes in Great Britain.
Okay.
So these are just some quick fun facts about the lake itself. It is a massive waterway in Scotland that splits the Highlands.
Yeah.
This lake was also formed over like 400 million years ago, which makes us take the water back to when the water settled in the crater to make a lake, which takes us back to the water being melted ice from the last ice age 10,000 years ago.
Okay.
And legend has it, there are a large number of underwater caverns and caves within the lake and rivers.
Okay.
So lots of places for things to hide.
Yes.
You know?
I fully believe in Nessie, by the way.
1,000%. This bitch is real. Okay. I want to get a tattoo of her on my arm.
The way you were holding your face, I was like, on your forehead?
Nope. On my arm. Like bicep.
Nice.
Flex and it'll be Nessie.
Nice.
All right. So sightings go back to the middle of the 18th century. The river/lake Ness, like I said, was formed basically during the last ice age. That's how the water stayed in, along with animals that were melted from the ice and have now adapted to their new habitat. Descriptions and sightings is a long neck, serpent-like creature with humps on its back that appear out of water.
Yeah.
It is also known to be black or darkish green.
Yeah.
Had,
green.
like I said, serpent-like features or dinosaur-like features. And Nessie is known to be very, very shy. So claims have gone back at least 1,500 years.
Yeah.
But they've actually really gone back to sometime in 500 AD.
Yeah.
Time frame. There's actually been sightings for a lot longer than people thought, which kind of brings us back to like the dinosaur theory. I'm going to keep bringing that up because
I mean, I always pictured her as like, I don't know what the frig they're called, like what kind of dinosaurs they are, but like Littlefoot, you know?
A long neck?
Yeah. That's what I picture her as, like Littlefoot, you know, but huge.
Picture her as like a magical pleophloron. Yeah, I can't say it.
Times fast.
Yeah, I can't say it. You're going to hear me fucking up later on, too.
I don't know. Aren't they like brontosauruses or whatever? The ones I'm thinking of?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've, learned dinosaur names. So, Scottish ancestors have actually carved pictures of serpent-like creatures near the lake, which again brings us back to like 500 AD.
Yeah.
So the first known photo was taken by Hugh Gray on November 12th of 1933.
Mm-hmm.
But the most famous photo that everybody knows is the surgeon's photo. Yeah. Is the surgeon's photo, which is the iconic like dark shadow in the water.
Yeah.
And that was taken on April 19th of 1934. So
I didn't realize it was that long ago.
It's crazy to think cameras been around that long.
Yeah, cameras have been around a long, long time. Like I did photography class in high school. Like,
oh yeah, I did one at Lambton College. It was part of this high school thing. So we would bus to Lambton College, and I did photography at a college level while I was in high school for college credit.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun.
Did you have to make your own?
Long drive.
Did you make your own cameras?
No. It was like one day a week for like only 8 weeks. It was just basically to learn your basic photography with a little bit of history.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anywho.
So 60 years later, it was actually proven that the surgeon's photo was a hoax in 1975, which people had shrugged off. No, it's got to be real.
He's a liar and I hate him already.
But in 1994, it was officially debunked as a hoax and published as a hoax in a book called The Surgeon's Photo, Debunked, in 1999.
There wrote a whole damn book about this picture.
Yes.
Wow. That's a pretty great picture.
So it's claimed to be that the photo is a hoax as revenge for the boss of Daily Mail for their friends' photos or claims of footprints along the shoreline.
Yeah.
And he got let go. So they did it out of like revenge to get back at him.
That's funny.
Yeah. But just because these photos are fake does not mean that others are.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
See, now I'm starting to not believe in Nessie.
It's like Tinkerbell. I do believe in fairies. I do. I
believe.
So an Irish man named St. Columbia, he was a Christian representative who arrived in Scotland and came across the legend of Nessie.
Mm.
But he witnessed her himself, and she was apparently attacking villagers. So he asked one of the locals to be super fucking brave and distract Nessie by jumping into the water, which they did.
Ha! That's good. There's this monster in there. Just jump in. Go
Right?
him.
And so when Nessie, turned around and was ready for round fucking 2, he told her off with the words of God, told her to go the fuck back where she came from. She was never seen again.
Oh, okay. Sure you did, bud.
So no other stories have been heard of her harming anybody else. And this story came out around 565 AD when he brought Christianity to Scotland.
Okay. She's like a gentle giant.
How does he know she wasn't just asking for their veggies or their fish? Hey.
Or maybe she was just like, hey, friends.
I haven't seen another living creature in so long. Please love me.
Yeah.
Kind of like us during COVID. So numerous accounts after that started skyrocketing. And especially in 1933, when that picture came out, and there was a lot of ruckus happening within the lake. So soon all of Great Britain knew about Nessie, and there were headlines coming out of papers like crazy.
Yeah.
And Daily Mail had hired a big-time game hunter to catch and prove the existence of Nessie. He didn't find her himself, but he did find footprints, again, along the shoreline, similar to like the other guy's story.
Yeah.
And then it was then
the case with these things though, like when we did the honey swamp monster.
Yeah.
You could see footprints, but you can't find the monster.
Yeah. So it was then debunked by the British Museum of Natural History that it was a footprint of a hippopotamus and most likely a stuffed foot. So not even real.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Now, slap in the face to Daily Mail. Can't say I don't read their shit all the time. I send you articles from Daily Mail all the time. Like
I always watch their videos on Facebook.
I love True Crime Daily's videos. They're so good. So some theories are that Nessie is a swimming circus elephant that was taking a swim break in between traveling of the local towns.
What?
I mean,
pardon the fuck you?
I kind of get it because like they have their ears poking up and their trunk up with the top of their head. And you might see like their butt poking out. Like in Tarzan.
I don't buy it.
No, I don't buy it either.
It's lies and I hate it.
It's lies. So lots of local scientists and monster hunters think Nessie looks similar to the dinosaur, a plesiosaur, which are assumed to have died off 65 million years ago.
Like all the other dinosaurs.
Yep. Lost my spot for a second. Yeah, so if Nessie is a plesiosaur, it would be very difficult for her to live in the lake, as it is an extremely cold lake, and the average temperature is 5 degrees Celsius all year round. Yeah, she is chilly as fuck.
Ugh.
That's like everybody trying to jump into the beaches here in Canada when it's like -5. But there's no snow, so they think they can still go in the beach.
Well, duh.
I heard that cold water is useful.
Yeah. It helps make your skin nice. Prevents
so beautiful. So, like I said, the lake froze over, thousands of years ago during the Ice Age, and then melted out along with a bunch of creatures that are probably still living in there somewhere. I mean, if they haven't even fully discovered everything in our ocean, who's to say that there isn't something like this that had evolved and adapted over time in the lake?
Yeah, the ocean is kind of spooky because, like, really, we have not touched it all. And
Well, the Marianas Trench is so deep.
Yeah.
It's the deepest point in the entire ocean. Yeah, the entire planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to laugh at this. Also rumored to be, oh God, an archaeoite, which is a long-necked whale, which is assumed to be extinct for the last 18 million years. So again, going back to dinosaur-like times.
Extinct water creatures. Just one survivor.
Mm-hmm. But skeptics just think that locals are seeing small waves in the lake and that it's nothing more.
I mean, that's a valid point.
Prints were found near the lake multiple times with a creature that is roughly 20 feet in length. Zoologists claim the prints look similar to a hippopotamus. Again.
Oh, called it.
Yeah. They claim, like I said, the prints are, claimed to be a hoax, but a lot of locals still believe that it's real.
Yeah,
they did find They did find proof of eels living within the lake.
Okay.
And it's believed she could be a large mutated or hybrided eel.
Okay.
The only thing with that is eels don't go above the surface.
No.
So that is one, con to that theory. I mean, if it was like a hybrid, maybe then yeah. But
yeah, because I still picture her as like the Simpsons when Mr. Burns captured her,
I haven't seen that episode.
Yeah,
there's a
Mr.
lot.
Burns captures Nessie to be like the 8th wonder of the world or whatever. And she's like a brontosaurus, like a Littlefoot, but big. And she's just sad that she's kept in a cage.
So local scientists, hold up. Rewind. Local scientists and monster hunters have been searching in the lake for decades with multiple types of technology. The most evidence that has ever been found is unknown objects moving on a sonar and an underwater photo of a giant fin that looks like it belongs to something prehistoric.
Okay.
I've seen that picture. It does. It looks like a fucking dinosaur, man.
I'm going to have to look it up after.
Scientists have done some DNA samples of the water and have ruled out certain animals that could be Nessie.
Yep.
They really don't think she's a dinosaur because, like I said earlier, the temperatures are just too cold. But I mean, over millions of years, who the fuck are you to say this thing didn't evolve like humans do over time and adapt to colder temperatures?
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, really, we I don't know how much we know, but maybe we were wrong about some of the dinosaurs liking cold.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I know they claim to be kind of reptilian.
Yeah.
Right? Or amphibian. But there's also claims of them being more bird-like. But who's to say they aren't more cold fish-like?
They could be all of the above.
Well, exactly. like I said, it's been millions and millions of years, so they've had plenty of fucking time to adapt to shit.
Yeah. No, dinosaurs exist. Don't you believe in Jesus?
So there's been numerous deep dives into the lake. The biggest being in 1987, which is Operation Deep Scan. There were also plans to train dolphins to swim around the lakes.
Oh, Jesus.
The lake with cameras and radars.
This gets worse. So much worse.
These dives and scans still happen to this day in the lake. I mean, I can't say if I ever go over there, I would not be hopping on that train so fast, sailing through the water. I would be like highlight of my life. I would be so happy. So in 2013, it was announced that that was the year Nessie had disappeared with not a single sighting in the 12-month span of 2013.
Okay.
So they thought maybe she just pissed off.
Or died, or...
Yeah. But in 2014, sightings started appearing and things went back to normal. Headlines. There's like an entire website just dedicated to it's literally LochNessSightings.com. And anybody, whether you're a traveler, local, if you see pictures, or even if you don't, you're just driving or something and you see something, you can put it in there and it logs every sighting that's ever been.
Neat.
Yeah.
I feel like they should have that for all of the, like...
There's one for Bigfoot.
Yeah, but they should have it for, like, all of them, you know?
Wouldn't surprise me if Reddit has that shit already.
Yeah. Reddit.
So...
everything.
They do. So one of the most recent sightings with proof was in May of 2017 when Gordon Holmes took a video of a large black object swimming extremely fast around the lake.
Okay.
The video was then released to BBC Scotland and STV North Tonight program. So at this point, it just blew up. Everyone's like, she's real.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck the haters. Sean the non-believers. So yes,
she is like the animal from Charlie the Unicorn.
Yeah, the magical florfawn. Told ya.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. I actually, you know what? That's what I'm picturing. Not a Brontosaurus.
Yeah.
That's what I'm picturing. You're right.
So last year in 2020, there was a total of 13 sightings from locals and tourists. And there are multiple videos and pictures, like I said, on the official Loch Ness Monster sighting website. You can register on there. And it's sightings from 2000 to 2020. So 20 years. And again, that's LochNessSightings.com. So Nessie has inspired pop culture over her existence.
Yeah.
Like movies, TV shows, and even music.
Oh, really?
She made her debut feature in the 1969 film, The Private Life of Sherlock Holmes. And I saw a picture and it's this big, like, puppeted paper mache, bulgy-eyed, long neck thing coming out of the water. It was so entertaining, and she's just staring down at the boat like, oh
no.
I was laughing so hard. But yeah, so just some thoughts and theories that I have on Nessie are, is she a log, like people claim? A giant eel or hybrid eel? A dinosaur from, that time? Or I don't know the term or the proper name for the animals during the Ice Age. Could she be that fish or a whale? Is she a cardboard or wooden cardo, like the famous picture is? Photoshop, aliens, or there is a folklore, which I will eventually get into, and it's called a Kelpie, and it is a Scottish shape-shifting spirit that some people believe could be Nessie, and that's why you only see her at certain times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or she does not exist.
Yeah. Or the entire thing's a hoax and people are just literally joshing fucking everybody in the world.
Riding it for the money.
Oh, yeah. I'm still going with the dinosaur theory.
I mean, logically, I feel like that makes the most sense. Like the Leo draw.
Yeah, or that whale with the elongated neck that I had mentioned. Yeah. Like those would be the most logical if she is real.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, that's up for you guys to decide, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what your theories are, but
well, everyone else can let us know. I don't really have a theory. I mean, I don't know. Nessie's Nessie. She's just real. That's it. End of story.
Yeah. I'm a believer.
Nessie. That was my worst attempt at saying it in a Scottish accent because I am awful.
I'm not even going to try. But yeah, so that's my case.
All right, guys. So, like Olivia said, I am also jumping across the pond. And today we're traveling to England to learn about John George Hay, or more commonly known as the acid bath killer.
Shout out to our fans in the UK, by the way. One of those fans being my cousin.
Now, I actually got the idea to cover him when I was watching Bones a few weeks ago with Ron. Yeah, because they made a reference to him. And then Ron was like, hey, you should cover him in your podcast. And then I just was like, okay.
Look at Ron with the fucking recommendations, man.
Yeah, he's the best. So John
You're
Hayes
the best, Ron.
So John Hayes was born in 1909 in Stamford, Lincolnshire, England. His parents were part of a conservative Protestant sect, and later John claimed that he suffered from reoccurring religious nightmares through his childhood.
Oh.
He learned how to play piano and was very fond of classical music. He won a scholarship to Queen Elizabeth Grammar School and then another scholarship to Wakefield Cathedral, where he became a choir boy.
Oh,
yes.
Choir boys. You know what they say about choir boys?
That they're good at singing in the choir?
Of course. What were you thinking?
I don't know. So at 21, he was fired from a job for allegedly stealing from the cash box. And then in 1934, John got married.
Oh.
A while later, he was sent to prison for fraud. You know, he already been full job. Now he went to prison for fraud. And then his pregnant wife gave their baby up for adoption and left him.
Oh.
And because of all of this, John's conservative family ostracized him from then onwards.
Oh, no.
So he's off to a great start.
Just going downhill.
Yeah. Then in 1936, so 2 years later, he moved to London and became a chauffeur to a wealthy man.
Oh.
Not long after, he started pretending that he was a solicitor named William Cato Adamson and began working in an office. He sold fraudulent checks from the estates of his dead clients, and he was eventually caught and served 4 years for fraud. After his release,
only 4 years?
Yes. Well, I mean, it depends on how many times he did it or how many people he did it to, right?
And how bad it was.
Yeah. So after his release, he was imprisoned several other times for fraud again.
Didn't fucking learn the first time, did you, bud?
No. So John realized that the reason that he kept getting caught was because he was leaving his victims of his frauds alive.
I like how that's his first reasoning as to why, like, he's not getting away with it.
Yeah. So he became fascinated with French murderer George Alexander Serret. George Serret had disposed of his victims' bodies in sulfuric acid.
Oh.
We'll eventually cover him, maybe. And then while in prison, John began experimenting with mice. And he discovered that it only took 30 minutes for the average field mouse's body to fully dissolve entirely. So then he figured out the math, depending on each person, how much acid he would need to dissolve their body. Like, he was actually pretty smart.
Yum.
And that was the thing on Bones, is they were trying to figure out how much acid they needed for how much acid was needed to dissolve a body and how quickly it would dissolve or whatever, by doing that math from him.
Oh.
Yeah. So John was freed from prison in 1943, and he became an accountant with an engineering firm. Which, I think is kind of stupid that he became.
Look at me. I'm an accountant. Sorry, I had to. It's from TikTok.
Oh, okay. I don't TikTok. So soon after, by complete random chance, he happened to run into his old employer, like that he was with at the chauffeur and stuff. His name was William McSwan. And
long time no see.
Yeah, he ran into him at a pub. And he learned of William's wealthy lifestyle, and he became jealous. So, on September 6th, 1944, William disappeared.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's it. That's the end of my case. I'm done. I'm just kidding. So, John lured William into a basement, then struck him over the head. He then put William into a 40-gallon drum filled with sulfuric acid. He returned after 2 days, and William was complete sludge. So then John poured down a manhole.
Yum.
Yeah.
Long pig pudding.
So John told William's family that William had gone into hiding in Scotland to avoid being called in for the army. This was during World War II, by the way, if anyone doesn't know their dates. So John then took over William's home and job, including all of his money. William's parents became suspicious by the fact that their son hadn't returned home when the war was getting close to an end. And so John lured them into his basement by claiming that their son was home and waiting to surprise them. He hit them both in the head and disposed of them also. John then stole William's pension checks, sold their properties, and moved into a nice little hotel. So John was a gambler, and by 1947, he had gambled away most of the money that he stole from the, McSwans.
That's a batch of kittens.
So being the greedy man that he was, he decided to kill again. He met Dr. Archibald Henderson and his wife, Rose, after pretending to show interest in buying a home that they were selling.
Not the doctor.
He befriended them, and Rose invited John to play piano at the housewarming party. While there, he stole Archibald's revolver, and he began his plans. So he rented a workshop, and he moved drums of acid into it. And then in February of 1948, he drove Archibald to his workshop, pretending to want to show him an invention that he had made. John then used the stolen revolver and shot Archibald. He then lured
I just wanted to look at your toys.
I know, right? So then he lured Rose there by claiming that her husband had fell ill and shot her too. Then after John had disposed of their bodies, he forged a letter from them and sold all of their possessions for approximately, like in today's money, I figured it out the math, $145,000. So really not that much.
No, not much at all.
It's actually about the same amount that he got from the last kill that he blew through too. So, yeah.
It's like our fucking rent.
Yeah, he kept their car and their dog though.
Kept their dog.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't kill the dog, so that's good. So during that same month, John's last victim was Olive Durand Deacon, a fellow resident of his hotel. She was a wealthy widower, and she told John about how she had an idea for the invention of artificial fingernails.
Oh.
Yeah, so she would have invented them, if he hadn't killed her. So John then pretended to be interested and brought her to his workshop. He then shot her with Archibald's gun that he still had and stripped her of her valuables before submerging her into the acid. 2 days later...
Poor girl.
Yeah. 2 days later, Olive's friend reported her missing, and John was soon discovered. Detectives discovered John's history with fraud and searched his workshop. They found a dry cleaning receipt for Olive's coat because she was wearing like this big expensive coat when he killed her. So he sent it to the dry cleaners to get clean so that he could, get money from it. They also found papers referencing the McSwans and the Hendersons, along with several barrels of acid. The pathologist found 28 pounds of human fat, part of a foot, some human gallstones, and part of Olive's dentures.
Yum.
Mm-hmm. So John, he quickly confessed to the murders. He also confessed to 3 others that have not been proven. A young man named Max, a girl from Eastbourne, and a woman from Hammersmith. But, never proven, so no idea. After his arrest, he was kept at the police station. And fun fact, his cell door from that police station in the cell that he was in is actually now preserved at Horsham Museum.
Oh.
Yeah. So he was charged with murder, obviously, and he pleaded quickly insanity, claiming to have...
Of course.
He claimed that he drank the blood of his victims. And he then told a story of a dream that he had. So I'm going to read you this dream that he wrote now.
Oh, no.
I saw before me a forest of crucifixes, which gradually turned into trees. At first, there appeared to be dew or rain dripping from the branches, but as I approached, I realized that it was blood. The whole forest began to writhe, and the trees, dark and erect, to ooze blood. A man went from each tree, catching the blood. When the cup was full, he approached me. Drink, he said, but I was unable to move. Mm-hmm. So after much argument during the trial about John's reasoning behind the crimes and whether he was insane, sane, somewhere in between, whatever, the jury actually only took a few minutes to find him guilty. He was sentenced to death, and he allegedly asked if he could have a practice run of his death before it happened.
What the fuck? I want to prepare myself for what's coming.
Yeah. And then on August 10th, 1949, John Hayes was hanged. Now, at the beginning, I mentioned that I got this topic idea from Bones. There's been a handful of other pop culture about this guy. So there's a movie called A is for Acid about him.
Huh.
His waxwork was exhibited in the Chamber of Horrors at Madame Tussauds in London. I don't know if our American listeners have ever heard of the Madame Tussauds wax museums.
Well, there's one in Niagara Falls.
We have one in the Canadian Niagara.
I'm pretty sure there's some in the States.
Makes sense. He was also an episode of Criminal Minds was inspired by him. And I had never heard of this game, but the video game Clock Tower 3 references him. And I also found 4 different metal bands that have recorded songs that reference him.
I love it. I wonder if I've heard any.
I had never heard of the 4 bands that I looked up, so I mean,
what are they? Do you know their names?
Google it.
Oh,
I will send you the thing.
I'm curious. I used to listen to a lot of interest in metal back in high school.
I've
reverted back to my punk rock days.
Yeah, if you go to the Wikipedia link for him, then at the bottom it says pop culture and it'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That's where I find all my pop culture references.
Same. Well, that sounded like a really slimy case.
Yeah, now it might be a little bit of a stretch, but last week we did two babas and they were related. And this week, I don't know why, but I said like acid bath. So I think bath like water. And then I don't know.
Well, and he went to Scotland. You said he went to Scotland.
Yeah, I'm thinking like monsters in water. We just kind of accidentally did this together.
We're syncing up.
Yep.
Women always be syncing up with their things, right?
I don't know if next week we will.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. But anyways, thanks for listening to my story, guys. And it was fun doing something more across the pond than we have been doing. So we are listening. So there's 2 more for non-American crime, but next week I do have another American crime, and I'm sorry.
There's just so many juicy good ones.
Yes, but don't worry, I do have tons and tons that are like across, like in other parts of the world, like Asia and Europe and Africa even, you know.
Ooh.
Yeah. I've got
I'm excited to hear.
I have a couple Australian things, and when we eventually get to our Canadian, don't worry, I got a bunch. So
oh yeah, I got a good list.
Yeah, so don't worry, we hear you guys. We're doing it, but we will keep reverting to American just because
gotta mix things up. Yeah. Give a variety.
But like I said, I'd like to do more stuff that not everybody's heard of, so this is fun. Anyways, if anyone else has more suggestions other than, my hubby. Just kidding, because Candace gave us that idea for Candace Diaz.
I have a few cases that'll be recommendations coming up. So
yeah. And I did recently get some for Canadian, but we're not doing them yet. But I do have Canadian fan picks.
It's coming. That'll start for a very special date. So just got to keep staying tuned. Mm-hmm. Same with our listeners episode. We're going to be doing one soon, and it's personal stories from fans. Yes. So that's also coming up soon with a special date. So also stay tuned for that.
Yes. But other than that, we don't really have much more exciting because, we're both on lockdown, so we're both still trying to do this over Zoom. Not together, which is not the easiest. We're working it. So
oh yeah. And thanks for being patient with us too. Like, I know we've had some audio issues, but we're still learning, working out the tweaks, and Zoom's good, but not always when it comes to audio. So
re-listening, I can tell that I cut out a lot. That's just because Olivia's the one recording it, so I cut out more than she does.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
It's that Zoom connection, I told you. Alrighty, guys, that's everything for this week. We'll talk to you next week.
Toodaloo.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Special thanks to Dylan Sears for the theme song and Sally Gunter for the cover art. Support us on Patreon and like, share, rate, and subscribe to us on all of our social media pages and your podcast streaming service. Do you have any personal stories or suggestions for the show? Email us at bloodgutsandbooze@gmail.com.